Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to take a look at the next section in the text of A Course in Miracles, which is chapter 18, and now we're on to section 9. And this one is very, very interesting. I would say that about all of them because they all are. It's called The Two Worlds, and we're invited right away to give the Holy Spirit the thought, this little piece of our mind that thinks it's the Son of God. Give this thought, this tiny little mad idea, this thought of separation to the Holy Spirit. Give the ego to the Holy Spirit. Hmm. The ego thinks that it is not only the Son of God itself, it thinks it's God and rules this little limited kingdom that we appear to find ourselves in, rules it with an iron fist like a brutal dictator, cruelly. And in this, as we adhere to this false idea of separation, we suffer. We experience the ins and outs and the ups and downs of life. We limit ourselves to a physical body, which we think is us. And we find all the time, whether we actually consciously spend the time to think about this or not, we find all the time that this is highly limited. I mean, of course it is. It's limited in its lifespan, after all. It doesn't last forever. And during that time, it suffers aches and pains, perhaps really, really serious illnesses like cancer, things like that. We injure ourselves, we break bones, we cut ourselves and bleed, and this thing requires constant maintenance of us. And we think it's who we are. Yet it's not. And enter A Course in Miracles and enter all of spirituality, for that matter, of which this particular course is only one tradition. It's only one of many, many doors. So, what's relevant here is that you've found your way to this channel. I'm delighted that you're here. I thank you for being here because what it means is you're dedicated and committed to your spiritual practice, which is huge. So I thank you for that. You're here for a reason. And no matter how that may have appeared to you on the surface of life, right? It could be that a friend recommended this channel to you. It could be that YouTube suggested it, or you just happened to be scrolling along and you saw it. Well, however you found it, or if you've been watching for the past several years, because this has been going on since 2021. So, however you got here, you're here because you heard the call of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, to awaken, and then you did something with that. You answered it, even if you were not consciously aware of that at the time. And whatever outward form that appears to have taken, not only did you hear the call, but you also have answered it. It's what has us all on the spiritual path. We simply recognize, however briefly or however dimly, yeah, however momentarily we recognize that there's more to it than this. Yeah, there's more to it than that. There's more to it than eating and drinking water and feeding the physical body and checking our email. Of course, there's more. We all know this, so you're here. So, as we identify with the body, we limit ourselves. We really do. It's a profound limitation. The body's sight, the eyes, right? The body's sight is designed to limit us because the eyes only appear to see what we deem as physical objects. It does not see what's beyond these physical objects or underneath these physical objects. It does not see what's within. That's why spirituality is frequently referred to as the unseen. Oh, but it is seen, just not by the body's eyes, which were designed to limit, which were designed to show you a picture in your mind of 8 billion plus individual self sustaining survival units that we call human beings doing life here on a wobbling, spinning ball of rock that appears to be hurtling through space, and we call that life. In fact, it's a profound limitation. The body's eyes can't show you who and what you really are or where you really are. If you only follow what the eyes mirror, in other words, reproduce, you will continue to sit and spin and to suffer and to think that you're profoundly limited, but you are limitless. Each and every one of us is completely limitless. So let's give this mistaken thought, because the ego, this false sense of individual separate self, is simply a mistake. Let's bring it to the Holy Spirit, give it to Him. And one of the ways that you can do that is to forgive it. As you practice true forgiveness, as this course teaches it and suggests that we practice, you may want to try this. Forgive the ego. It is a simple mistake. Forgive and release it to the Holy Spirit. Let it go. Let your inner teacher have it. I mean, we're invited, after all, on the path, especially in this course, to bring our darkness to light, to bring our illusions to truth. This is one way of our doing that. So I invite you to do that. We really see with the mind. Our eyes, what we call our eyesight from the physical body, appears to show us things that look external. Other people look external. This screen that you're watching this conversation on looks external, right? Mountains and trees and the ocean look to be external. Everything that you see with the body's eyes appears to be outside you. Yet there is nothing outside you. What we really do is our actual vision is with the mind. It's the mind that actually sees. It's what sees what we call the unseen, what's within. And think of it this way. If this is something that you're finding is highly perplexing, possibly mind-blowing and insane, well, I get that. Our perception of everything is upside down. A Course in Miracles, should you choose to do the course, aims to turn our perception right side up. From there, truth dawns of itself. That is awakening. Uh, but first, we must learn to see things as they really are. We see with the mind when we dream, let's say at night, for example, what we see seems really real, doesn't it? It appears to us to be just as real as what we call the waking state. We see images that look real. We hear things, taste, touch, feel, smell things, even in the dream, and we take them to be real. Yet when we awaken, it's as though the dream were never there. And it wasn't. It was a dream. A dream. That's why they call enlightenment awakening. It's a very, very apt and indeed a perfect term for it. Awakening, yeah. This is a dream. In fact, there's no difference between a dream that we have when we're asleep and the waking dream, which is what we call life. We actually do see with the mind. And if this seems mind-boggling, that's perfectly okay. I mean, this course aims to have us effect a perceptual 180. I mean, flip our perception right side up. It is profoundly upside down. We're in the process, you're in the process of flipping it right side up. Now, you have tremendous help here. And I'm not simply referring to someone like myself who serves as a guide for you. You're happy if you want to ask questions of me, I'm happy to answer them. But what I'm really talking about, a profound help, is your inner teacher, the Holy Spirit. Ask your inner teacher for help and guidance. It will show you, he will show you if you prefer. The Holy Spirit will show you if only you let him. Really. Your inner teacher will show you what's underneath or beyond the veil, what's within. Your inner teacher will show you who, what, and where you really, truly are. And I know you know where that is, and who and what. There's only perfect oneness. God is the only reality, which answers all three of those who, what, and where questions, doesn't it? We're known as the thought of God. That's one of the terms that the Course uses to describe us, the Son of God. God's creation remains in the mind of the thinker. Thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. Ideas leave not their source. Capital S. Very profound. So let the Holy Spirit in and relax and trust his guidance. The guidance of our inner teacher is not intended to frighten you. It's not meant to scare you. The ego scares you, but the Holy Spirit will lead you calmly, lovingly, gently, and our inner teacher knows exactly what we're capable of doing on a given day and won't give us more than that. The very fact that we're having this conversation and you're here listening to it means that we're all getting what looks like a gradual awakening. The Holy Spirit is not cruel and mean at all. It won't rip the veil that covers your sight off if doing so would terrify you. That would hardly be kind. So we appear to be on this thing that we refer to as the path. So invite your inner teacher in. Relax and trust his guidance. Give over the ego. Give over your entire experience to the Holy Spirit for his purposes. In other words, for the purposes of healing the mind. Do that. I invite you to try it. All right. So I thank you, as always, for tuning in and for joining me here. Questions are inevitable. I mean, this is some deep stuff, after all, which you knew. And I know you're ready for it, or you wouldn't be here. So, to the extent that questions arise, please do feel welcome to ask them here in the comment thread on YouTube. And even if you want to just pop in and say hello, I'd love to hear from you. So please do. And if you have not yet subscribed, that's the prompt in the corner of your screen. So just go ahead and click that, and you'll be invited to join us. Several videos appear each week. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to all of you soon.